Greetings to all light forms and life workers who have found this Tarot Tutoring Episode 2, The Hubris of the High Priestess. This is the third part of a Tarot Tutoring series. It is recommended for any new viewers or returning viewers to this channel that you begin this with Episode 1. There will be a link to the playlist in the description of this video. We will begin, like in each video, with the Visconti. But unlike the other videos, I would like to add a little information that might make the High Priestess make a little bit more sense. So the High Priestess is one of the most difficult and I would say misread cards in the tarot. So oftentimes it is seen as a witch, as a reader, as some external force manipulating you of dark magic. This can be true, and the tarot will tell us these things, if they are true. But oftentimes it's way more complex than that, and there's a lot more going on with this archetype than what we perceive it as. Oftentimes in life, we want to label things that we don't understand as instantly negative because the possibility of negativeness is real and can be quantified in our current perspective. But what cannot be quantified, what we rarely want to understand, is that anything that we don't fully understand can also be used for a tremendous level of light, of good, of positivity. But we just instantly assume it to be negative without any critical thinking, where it is the card of critical thinking. It is the card of rational understanding, of understanding the balance between yourself, your beliefs, and the external world that you create. So keep that in mind as we go through these cards, is the preconception of magic, the preconception of mystics, of those who isolate themselves from others, is a recurring theme in the tarot. So we will go back to it multiple times in this series. This is the first time it's really coming up. And we will begin with one of the most atypical High Priestesses. The figure of the High Priest is seated upon a gold bench on a trapezoidal platform. She is draped in a brown Masonic cloak and wears a tiara over the white wimple on her head. In her right hand she holds a thin scepter topped with a cross. In her left hand, and balanced on her knee, is a sacred book. In the bottom corners of the cards are floral patterns on the grass. The motif is found on cards throughout this deck. Some scholars believe that this card represents the female pope, or popess. Mokusli believes her religious habit is from the Ultimatuma order, and that the figure is Sister Manfreda, a relative of the Visconti family who was elected pope by the small Lambert sect of Guilleminus. According to Melisi, the followers believed that Sister Manfreda was the incarnation of the Holy Spirit, sent to integrate the new age of the Spirit prophesied by Joan Flim of Flora. So we'll just stop there for a second. That's a lot of information. I probably said the Italian names very incorrectly. I acknowledge that. But the idea that the High Priestess, in her earliest known form, was based off of an individual who was thought of to be an incarnation of the Holy Spirit. So the three aspects, the Creator or the Father, the Holy Spirit or the Purveying Om, and the Child or the Christ Force. They exist throughout the tarot. We have met the child, which is the Fool, or the Christ. We've met the Father, the Creator, the Magician. And then now we meet the Holy Spirit, the infinite essence of all things. Okay? Divination meanings: wisdom, sound judgment, serene knowledge, common sense, learning, objectivity, penetration, education, foresight, intuition, comprehension, perception, self-reliance, hidden emotion, trusting intuition, open to the unknown. Platonic relationships, avoids emotional entanglements, practical, teacher. The reverse meanings: ignorance, short-sightedness, lack of understanding, selfishness, acceptance of superficial knowledge, improper judgment, shallowness, conceit. So, as mentioned previously here, the Visconti was never meant for divination openly. It was meant for game playing. But the symbols that I find very potent is the book with the face shrouded to the viewer, which is the infinite wisdom, the knowledge, the study of the information. She may seem visibly pregnant to some, or hiding a pregnancy. This could be a symbol of birthing new concepts, new ideas. This could also be holding the Holy Spirit within her womb. The very barely visible staff she holds is a symbol of projecting your power, of holding your strength. The high-level crown that breaks up, opened third eye. She has vision, understanding, but she can be clouded and misunderstood and misunderstand herself. Sometimes the guidance of this teacher is exactly what we need to hear, and sometimes it may prevent us from learning more information. The High Priestess, first depicted here, is a figure of well-renowned, well-power, and infinite energies. But this can be misconstrued and misunderstood by the Fool, who is only looking for concrete answers, where the High Priestess oftentimes speaks in riddles. So those are some intuitive add-on there. There's a lot more to decipher for anybody interested. And to go with the title here, the Hubris. Hubris is defined as believing that you can or are capable of something that you may not be able to. You believe that you can, but there's no proof that you can. So oftentimes in the reverse position, the High Priestess is giving information that they believe is correct, that oftentimes is incorrect to those receiving the information. And the High Priestess believes that she is in a position of power, is one with the Holy Spirit, and oftentimes does not question herself and is unable to really see the full spectrum of her energies when she's in the reverse position. Okay, from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. High Priestess, secrets, mystery, the future yet unraveled, the woman who interests the querent if male, the querent if they're female, silent, tenacity, wisdom, science, in reverse position, passion, morale, or physical ardor, conceit, sacrifice of knowledge. So they don't give you a lot of detail here with the writer. So I will add on what I have studied. So the two pillars are representative of holding the positive and negative forces of magic of life, the destruction, the creation. the subjugation, and the freedom. The moon is rising from the flow of the water, which depicts the power of the cycles, the power of taking the energies that are happening currently and allowing your frequency to best match up with them for the maximum power. Doing your magic and spellcraft based on the phases of the moon. She holds the tarot, partially cloaked. She holds the infinite wisdom. Now the book is the tarot. Now the book is the lessons, the infinite codex of life. She has a cross, which represents the Holy Spirit that she is originated from, the infinite creativity that permeates all existence. She has a tapestry of blossoming fruits, the infinite abundance of all things. She's wearing a hat that magnifies her psychic ability and allows her to have perfect intuition. She doesn't need to speak. She does not need to look and find herself on a public platform. Those who will honor her information, who seek her power, will find her in their own way. She does not offer any physical gifts like the magician. What she offers is non-physical, non-tangible, infinite codex of love, compassion, and mystery. Now we move to the Shadow of Oz Tarot. The High Priestess, Glinda the Good Witch of the South. On her throne, she wears no jewelry, but carries a rod bearing the seal of Oz. Divinely beautiful, her hair is a red gold, her eyes a true blue. Her flowing Her flowing gown is pure white. Open on her lap is the Great Book of Records, which tells her everything that happens in the land of Oz and the whole world. The room is dominated by red and white. Reading, non-intervention, institution, shadows, possibilities. Shadow notes. Although Glinda never flaunts her power, she is always there to put things together at the end of the story. Her card is the official, acceptable version of the moon. She is the power of magic, the focused imagination. Glinda first appeared in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, 1900. Card art by Derek Robinson. So there's a lot here. So there's 3 symbols of Oz. One is the staff, the magic wand to cast her infinite wisdom. 2 is the insignia of Oz reversed behind her, and then her 2 pillars. One is O, one is Z. These are the pillars of magic, of mystery, of non-intervention. This is the character, the energy, the archetypal frequency of the purest, kindest, compassionate form of magic. She is wise but compassionate. She holds the book of all the information of every major event that has ever happened. But she uses this as divination, as understanding, as wisdom. She does not share her magic openly, and she's one of the few of the 3 forces in the land of Oz allowed to use magic after Ozma is risen to power. In the story of Oz, Glinda sees the boy Tip and immediately recognizes the magic of the Princess Ozma. She helps reverse the evil spell of Mombi to bring the boy Tip to her natural form as the powerful fairy princess Ozma. Glinda was able to see the magic when no one else could. Okay, and then the 4th is the Book of the Dead Tarot. The High Priestess represents wisdom, such as the rigor and components The rigor and commitment to attain this through study, evaluation, management, and also through the constellation and closeness of a female figure, maternal or mature. She suggests a period of waiting or perhaps isolation, during which it is possible to think deeply about what we need and then to grasp the key that will open what was previously accumulated. The risk of the process, however, is to remain too close within oneself, to accumulate perhaps secrets, and to then be prey to pride, laziness, or passivity. Much like a bird that silently observes from above, this is a point of view without acting, the advice of the dead. Perceive with study and meditate on the best road that will take you where you can realize your project, without forgetting to value what you are accumulating or keeping. So there's a lot of codex here. So one is the candles, the fire, the flame, the energy that we hold, the information of study, of meditation, of understanding, but also the flight of observation. There's no pillars, but as the moon is rising, the magic is veiled in the misunderstood. Figure is cloaked, not shining in their purest light, illuminating in the darkness, echoing the energies of knowledge, of information, but showing us the hubris of gaining all the information but not acting, not sharing, not informing, hoarding, and identifying as grand wisdom, alone, isolated, and closed off, while the true key of wisdom she holds in her hand, never to be used, but just to be coveted. So, here's the aspects all together, and now I will talk about the cosmic archetypal energy that exists in every deck. To some extent, this is the cosmic archetypal energies of the High Priestess. First, we will talk about the Holy Spirit, the religious identity of finding information, gaining information, and sharing it to others. Then we have the ability to share that with balance, with understanding, with compassion. Knowing that your power is massive, is infinite, but cannot be widely understood, cannot be widely shared. So by doing so, you find the right energies, the right people, and the right ethics to bring these sharing forward. But remember to not isolate all the time. That isolation sometimes is medicinal, is helpful. But you have to share, you have to be part of a community. Glinda is the ruler of a kingdom. She has ladies in waiting, soldiers, all happy to be with her. The High Priestess is studying always, but always knows of her abundance all around her, because she exists between the light and the shadow. She can bring both forces as acts of creation. Know that you can light the candle in the darkness. You can bring the power to the hatred and turn that into love. Know, more than anything else, the Holy Spirit, the cosmic space ghost that connects everything, that brings the pregnant new life, the new force of joy, excitement, love, and the mystery of the infinite, brought here in a human form, based on study, based on intuition, and based, most importantly, on compassionate action to others. The Popess is the leader of a group. Glinda is a leader of a group. So these two aspects are the communal High Priestess, and these are the solitary High Priestess. You can exist with your magic in groups or isolated. Know both are equal and both hold massive amounts of power. Find what is right for you and know that you hold this magic. And the infinite message of the High Priestess is to not be hubris. To know your power, know your ability, but to not believe that it's more than that it is. To not put yourself on a higher place than anyone else. Know that you are equivalent even though in a sitting position. You can share and reflect your magic infinitely throughout this world. Do so with mindfulness. Know that the information you give others can be used for light or shadow. Be aware of the entities that you share your information with, and know that you are protected and cosmically guided by the Holy Spirit, by the infinite force of love, creativity, and divine connectivity of all things. I will leave with that message. Much gratitude here, and I look forward to seeing you at the next card. Much love.